last night was one of those games that you look at and you go, we got to have this one. It's going to be disappointing to be so close, but to come home with the loss.
Absolutely. I mean, we pretty much go into every game with that kind of attitude. You know, every game in the ACC is really important. It was a good game, and we were very capable of winning the game. But we just have to find a way. We just have to do a better job of executing late and getting stops late, and winning those close games.
Tough loss, I would assume, considering what's coming in on Sunday. I mean, you guys have had success against Duke here, but certainly this is just part of the ACC, right?
Absolutely. I mean, the last night's game was definitely, one of those games where we wanted to try and kind of build some momentum. We had momentum going into the BC game, and we wanted to try and get a 3-game winning streak, but we dropped the ball, and there's nothing we could really do about it right now except move on and try and get ready for Duke.
Is it easier to get that motivation, that momentum back when you have a team like Duke coming in and you're going to have a sellout crowd and a good atmosphere here?
Well, like I said before, every game is really important in the ACC, but looking at it from a player's perspective, everyone's excited to play Duke. They're a really good team this year, as they usually are in the past. And guys look at that as a way to easily get motivated and really excited to play. We know it's going to be a packed house here, so guys are really excited to play for this game.
When you were a freshman, you guys beat Duke by 27 here. Would you settle for a similar result someday?
Well, that's probably not going to happen again, but that was definitely a great experience. They're a really good team this year as well. So they're going to come in here and, they're going to see this as an opportunity to, get a good road win. So we have to match their intensity or exceed it, and, we think it's going to be a really good game. And we have to do a good job of executing offensively and, following our game plan defensively to try and get a win.
Does it feel like you guys are sort of taking 2 steps forward and then 2 steps back this season?
It seems that way. We took a big step going the right way when we played Florida State, and we just didn't. We had a bad performance against BC. So it's something that we definitely have to figure out. We're like halfway through the season now, and we're into ACC play, so there's really no excuses at this point. We just have to really find a way and grit it out, and try and win tough games, because every game is going to be tough here in the ACC.
Considering what happened last night at BC, and considering how well Duke shoots the ball, I think you'll hear a little bit about perimeter defense today in practice.
Oh, absolutely. They have a lot of great shooters on Duke's team, and our 3-point defense is going to be really important, and rebounding the basketball, because they're going to be a lot of long rebounds with a lot of 3-point shots. So that's definitely something that's probably going to be emphasized here in these next 2 days in practice.
What do you remember about that game when you were a freshman, beating Duke here? What stands out in your memory?
I just remember our fans being really crazy. It was a great atmosphere. It was a great atmosphere in huddles and between timeouts and stuff like that. And we just really imposed our will on them, and we played really, really well. Duke is, their coach is great, obviously, and their players are great, and they're gonna come in here, with a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm, and we're expecting a really good game.
You played double-digit minutes in that game. What can you tell this year's freshmen from that experience? Do you say anything to them?
It's gonna be a tough game. It's Duke, so they're great players, and they have a great coach, and they're gonna have a great game plan coming in. But what's really important is energy and enthusiasm. We have to do a great job defensively, because they have great offensive guys. So that's the major emphasis right now is defense, and let that carry on to our offense.
What stands out to you about Seth Curry? I think you will probably match up with him a lot Sunday night.
Yeah, well, he's one of the great players that I speak of, and he's a great shooter, and he's developing every year, becoming more than just a one-dimensional shooter, and he's doing a good job of getting his teammates involved and stuff like that. So he's going to be a really tough guy to defend.